said that Jon Jones is 6 foot forward, he can't dunk.
Oh, he said
Any
that?
response to that?
It's true.
Is it?
Yeah, it's true. I've never dunked a basketball.
Okay.
Never. I got no calves. So I'm like,
But that was his basis of saying he's a better athlete.
Well, I mean, if we're going to take dunking a basketball and sum that up into being an athlete, I'll give it to him. Then.
You guys aren't going to be playing basketball in there anyway.
Well, I don't think so. Last I checked, we didn't have a court.
Play a game of horse or something.
Yeah. Maybe after the game.
John, you've been in some grudge matches, some kind of emotional fights. What have you learned through your career? Because we hear the cliche almost that you can't fight emotional. You don't think clearly when you fight emotional. So what have you learned in your career so far? Is it good to come in there with a little anger towards the opponent, or do you have to block that out?
You definitely got to block it out as best as your ability. I always have been able to, and I will on Saturday.
Does it drive you though, like in training and in practice?
Oh, in training, dude, it drove me so far. I feel like an 18-year-old, dude. You know, at the beginning of my camp, I was kind of concerned coming off a knee surgery and jumping into camp. You know, I know what I do to get ready for fights: the running mountains, the swimming, the sparring with monsters. And I was worried at first, but the motivation just allowed me to forget about my knee and just be a kid again. And so I've found a newfound strength and energy. And I'm excited to go out there and display it.
And how do you put it aside on Saturday night? Is it meditation? What do you do to block that emotion out?
You know, I guess it's just something that I've been blessed with to be able to do. Yeah, I think a lot of fighters can do it. A lot of fighters do it. I've never fought out of anger. You know, I usually say I'm somewhat expressionless when I'm fighting, and I have a lot of pride in that. So.
How do you spend fight day to kind of relax? It's a long day.
Fight day, man. I thought about taking a helicopter out to the Grand Canyon, and I decided I probably wouldn't do that. That's what I was thinking of doing. I don't really know where I'm going to meditate yet, but I will get out, meditate, focus on the fight, think about the tactics, and just rehearse what I need to be doing, and yeah, it's just gonna be a good day out with it. Just eat all day.
Jon, back years ago, like before you won the title, I remember it was like right when you were on the cusp of winning the title, like after the Bader fight, it was like Dana was like, man, this kid could be the greatest if he just stays away from the bad people. You know, he's gonna have all these distractions come around. And now that like you've sort of lived through that, I mean, was it like a big deal? Did you see like were there a lot of people that came out of the woodwork? Has that been a challenge for you in the last few years?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's been a challenge. No. It's been a lot of trial and error, but I wouldn't say it's been a challenge. You know, my Coach Jackson, he really prepared me for this. You know, he said, John, I know you're going to be a champion. He used to tell me that back when I was like 19, 20. He said, John, I know you're going to be a champion. And it's, you know, I don't worry about you changing as far as getting arrogant or treating the fans any different, you know. He said, I worry about you, how will you be once you've already made it? You know what I mean? Like, as far as an athlete, you know, always looking for new reasons to be great and things like that. And he's like, John, just this camp, he said, John, I'm so proud of you. You know, you stood the test of time. You know, right now you already have the records in the light heavyweight division. You have a lot of records, and a lot of people would be satisfied. He's like, look at you, still one of the hardest workers in the gym. You know, still striving for so much more. You know, still feeling as if you haven't made it yet. And he's like, I'm just proud of you. So, you know, it was great to hear that from him, and I'll continue.
Hey, Jon, would you join if you were asked any of the antitrust lawsuits that were filed against the UFC? There have been groups of fighters that have filed. Would you join if they asked you?
I'm not answering any questions on that one.
All that being said before about, you know, what Greg said to you going into this fight and being called one of the greatest ever, if you win this fight, do you feel like you deserve to be called the greatest fighter in UFC history? Because we've heard some people say that.
Man, that's just my dream. You know, that's my dream to be the greatest, man. Why not? You know, I think my confidence offends a lot of people. But I think people should learn from it and be inspired by it instead of finding it offensive. You know, it's like, why not want to be the greatest?
But do you feel like you're in that conversation? I mean, if you want
to, I believe it in my heart. Yeah, I do believe I'm one of the better fighters to ever play the sport. Just because of the records, you know what I mean? And being one of the youngest guys to ever do it, and you know. But I would say I don't believe I am the best. I do believe Anderson and George have done amazing things, and they're still guys to this day I look up to a lot. But I want to be the best. I want to be the best champion of all time. Not only an MMA fighter, but champion. You know. And there's a lot of great champions too that are far ahead of me. But as long as I keep my mind in that type of direction, then I can't help but land amongst those guys. You know what I mean? So So yeah, I got big dreams, man.